The table shows the scores of 20 people who took a paramedics licensing test. Find the mean and standard deviation for these data. Round to 3 decimal places as needed. Now the thing you have to remember here is this frequency table tells you how many times each score appears. So for example, when it says there's a score of 71 with a frequency of 5, that means that you have actually 71 5 times. And then 72 once, 75 5 times, I'm not saying you need to write these out because I think you can get good enough that you don't need to, but I am going to do it just to show you and assure you that this is how it's to be interpreted. So 79 goes 6 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there are two 81s, and I'll just put them down here, 81, 81, and finally 182. Now if you add up 5 and 1 and 5 and 6 and 2 and 1, you get 6, 11, 17, 18, 19, you get 20. And that's what it told you. And you need to count these to make sure you have 20 of them. 1, 2, oops, that's 71, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now you simply put them in the calculator. Make sure you hit the on button a couple of times to make sure you've cleared all your data. And then you want to put the calculator into stats mode. So you want to go into stats mode. And again, by now that should be old hat. You do mode followed by the decimal point. You should see a little SD pop up in the upper right hand corner of your Casio FX260. And then you enter all 20 of those numbers using the M key between them. So you would have 71 M plus, another 71 M plus, another 71 M plus. There are 5 of those, and I'll just go ahead and do that. 3, 4, 5, and then there's 172. And I won't do every one of these, but you keep doing that till you get down to the end. The last 2, you'll have an 81 M plus, and then an 82 M plus. And as usual, I would suggest at this point you do shift 6, and shift 6 tells you how many numbers you've entered, and it better say 20. And if it does, that makes you feel a little better about having the data in correctly. At this point, you just do the mean and standard deviation, and they want the answers to 3 decimal places as needed. So for the mean, you do shift 7, and when you do that, you come out with exactly 76. You could put 76.000 if you want to, but it comes out even. And for the standard deviation, which I use S, you do shift 9. And for shift 9, you get 3.88, and they want it to 3 decimal places, so I'll put 3.880, and that's the standard deviation. Now I will, if you're satisfied with that, then the problem is done. But I will say this, there is a shortcut for putting in multiple values that are the same. For instance, these 571s take a while to put in, and these 575s as well. And actually there are 679s. It takes a little while to type those all in individually. There is a shortcut way of doing that, so I will show you that, but you can do it just this way if you're happy with that, but I will show you the shortcut just in case you'd like to learn it. Okay, I cleared off some of the previous work so I can show you the shortcut way of doing it, entering the data when it's a bunch of multiple values. Again, you don't have to do it this way. If the other way works for you, then just ignore this, but I want to show those that would like to be able to take advantage of that shortcut. And it works when you've got multiple values, like there are 571s, and to deal with that without entering 71 5 times, there is a shortcut way to do it. Once you get into stats mode, you still do your mode decimal point to get into stats mode. You write down, you enter the value, and then you put times the times symbol, and you count how many 71s there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you do times 5 and then do M plus, that enters the 71 5 times. And you don't have to actually do so much button pressing. And then you do 72, and there's only one of those, so you don't have to use the trick on that one. And then you put 75 down, and notice there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So you do times 5, and you do M plus. That will put 75 in 5 times. And then you go to 79, and there are actually 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you do times 6 and do M plus. And that enters 79 6 times. And then you do 81. There are 2 of those, so you can do times 2 M plus. And that enters 81 2 times. And finally, you've got your 82 on the end. So you've got 82 M plus. That's a little faster. It's up to you if you want to use that. But I definitely would recommend doing how many you enter. Check N. N is the sample, is the size, the number of times you put a number in, by doing Shift 6. I would definitely do that here for sure. Actually, I'd do it on all of them, but if you do Shift 6 here, you should come out to be 20. And again, that's just a double check that you actually have 20 numbers in there. I would do that. I would do it every time, actually. And once you do that, it becomes just like the other problem. You do Shift 6, you do Shift 7 to get X bar, and as we said before, that comes out to be 76. And you do Shift 9 as before to get the standard deviation, and that comes out to be 3.880. So same answers. It's just a way to avoid so much button pressing when you have lots of repeated values. It's up to you whether you want to use that or not.